everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Serendipity Project here on the Carrotus Horsemanship channel. We have another analysis of a ride with Bailey. I start off with a little bit of lunging. I know the saddle doesn't fit great. It was a temporary solution until my bareback pad came in for her. Her owner did work on her coming in that we saw in the last video. So when I ask her to stop here, you'll see she hesitates before she does start to come in, which I like a lot. I still shake the lead at her to make it clear that I want her to stay out there, and then when she does, I go ahead and walk to her and give her a big pat to tell her she was a good girl. I warm up in very much the same manner you saw in the first ride. Lots of opening rein, circles, just getting her body and her brain warmed up. Even though I did introduce a little bit of indirect rein during the last ride, I want to make sure that everything starts off slow and her brain can get warmed up as well as her body. I think a lot of people overlook that in the warm-up process and like to go right into complicated walk work, thinking that it's good to get their body warmed up at a walk, but that would be like you having to roll out of bed and take a calculus test right away. It's not ideal, and you'll probably be a little bit groggy and confused. As she warms up, I ask for a little bit more lifting with that inside shoulder with more direct rein, and you'll notice I stay with the posting for most of this warm-up to make sure her back is warm because it was really cold. There I start to add the opening outside rein and indirect inside rein to make sure she's staying bent on that circle and keeping that shoulder up and out, since her tendency is to fall in so she doesn't have to put weight on her hind end. More circles. I like that she's really staying extended for me and opening up that stride. When we first rode, she was a little bit shorter and a little bit more hesitant, so I enjoy that she's more confident. And you can see it here, she's more balanced when she stops, and she stops more square. I add in some sitting trot with that indirect inside rein and opening outside rein, and this is slower so that I can help her really think about where she's placing her feet. I start introducing her to leg yields. I find this is the best way to teach a horse to leg yield. I add my inside leg at the girth. I pretty much remove my outside leg. I use indirect inside rein and sit deep on my outside seat bone. I also send them toward the rail because horses naturally gravitate toward the rail, so it makes it more clear to them what you're asking. This is her stiffer side to move off of. So you can see she rushes a little bit here, but I just ask her to stay slow and try again. This one she does much better and really reaches and crosses over. It's important that I reward her after each one of these because if I don't, she may lose that really relaxed walk and start to chop up and get nervous. She has even more reach here, which I really like. She's deeply crossing over. And she carries that into her jog, which I was very pleased with. Sometimes they'll get a little stopped up when you change gaits because they aren't quite sure about the arrangement of their legs yet. But she works really hard, and she's a very smart horse once she finally gets a hold of a concept. So you could tell she really opens up and just moves right over. As a test of how well she's learned it, I go ahead and ask her to do it off of the rail, and she stops up a little bit here. And then she thinks about it and realizes what I'm asking and opens up that shoulder and crosses over. I was actually really pleased with that because typically it takes them a couple tries to get a hold of that, and that was just her first try. I've included this clip so you can see she's starting to reach down and seek contact a little bit more. I do use that outside rein as what I call a speed control rein. I use little unilateral half halts to back her off without having to pull on her mouth or sit way back when I want to be posting. But she's really starting to reach down and forward toward the bit. It's important to remember that a horse, especially one that's out of shape, isn't going to be able to do it all at once. This is a bit like horsey sit-ups or planking because it requires so much abdominal muscle, but with practice she'll be able to maintain it for longer periods of time. This flexing is much softer than the first ride, and you can see how much that lateral work has really helped her lengthen and loosen up those muscles. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.